What up, people? Mike Steph here with another special edition of Heel Turn by Mike Steph. Wrapping up this WrestleMania weekend. This is being recorded on Tuesday, April 22nd, 2025, the afternoon after the Raw After WrestleMania. That's a mouthful. This is just to give y'all a couple thoughts that I have left off my chest with this overall WrestleMania weekend. I've already broke down night one, night two, broke down how I feel like they dropped the ball in numerous ways, and it's actually a good thing that I recorded this today and not last night immediately after Raw, because two things. One, I say this all the time, and I've been saying it more and more frequently, and that is the IWC. Y'all, not only are y'all fickle, but y'all a bunch of hypocrites. Y'all have no idea what y'all want, when y'all want it, how y'all want it. I think sometimes y'all bitch just to bitch. Y'all complain just to complain. Not saying that y'all don't have the right to complain, because trust and believe, there was so many things wrong this weekend, as I espoused on my last two editions. But y'all also so freaking gullible. Y'all are so freaking gullible. Like, I was watching and reading and listening to podcasts and articles and social media posts over the happenings of Raw on Netflix, and oh my God, this has to be the best Raw ever. Oh my God, this has to be the best Raw After Mania ever. Why? And that's why y'all get what y'all get. That's why we got what we got over this weekend, because y'all will sweep everything conveniently under the rug and say, you know what? He's a genius. He's a god. Okay. For the uninformed, for the uninitiated. Okay. So, we had John Cena come out, beginning of the show, get cheered, call the fans idiots, call the fans heartless, the whole nine, gets cheered. He mentions Cody Rhodes' name, gets booed. He doesn't get booed, Cody gets booed. He lets them know that's why he's acting the way he's acting, because y'all are heartless. Y'all don't give a rat's ass about anybody but yourselves, and so forth. And then he's still getting the hero's treatment, because y'all didn't realize he's a hypocrite himself. He said he was going to change anything about his presentation. He was going to stay exactly the same, because that's what the fans wanted. And what did he do on WrestleMania? He came out with a new blank Titantron, new black plain colors, the whole expressionless face, a slow walk down the aisle. That's changing, and y'all loved it. Y'all loved it because y'all loved it when Randy Orton came out at the end of his promo and gave him an RKO to set up the main event for Backlash. Oh, we're on to a rousing start. No mention of The Rock. Passing mention of Cody Rhodes. Yeah, let us know that he only got about 27 dates, not 27 matches, 27 dates remaining for anybody in the company to take the championship from him. Now, I remember a couple weeks ago, I put a clip of my podcast on one of the social media outlets, and I got comments back of, it's not real, right? You do know that it's just part of the show, right? Yes, I do know it's part of the show. But one thing wrestling has always been is a suspension of belief. A quote-unquote male soap opera, if you will. I don't need to be beaten over the head again and again and again and again and again that everything that you're seeing on this screen is not real. It's from somebody's pen. It's from somebody's mind. You know, what really irked me one of the nights of WrestleMania was the post show in which Paul came out to tell his side of the story, or pretty much give all the stats and the thoughts behind the thought process behind everything. And when he was walking into the press room, he was like, yeah, the mastermind, the creative mind behind the main event that you just saw. I guess I'm really just showing my age. I think that's it. Maybe I've become that old curmudgeon at the tender age of 48 years old. As a wrestling fan for 40 years, maybe I become that guy. Fine. Another thing that y'all went over the moon for, Io Sky came out. Yes. Salute. And then Stephanie Vaquer came out. Oh my God, this is awesome. This is awesome. This is awesome. Now don't get me wrong, the match was great. Love it. Loved it. Just a tease, also a promo for Stephanie and Roxanne tonight on NXT. You had Julia pretty much make her debut on the main roster, coming out and teaming up with Roxanne. And then you have freaking Rhea Ripley come out with her black eye. So she only had one eye done. The other one was bruised. Come out and clear the ring. You know, stare down Julia. You know, Stephanie just disappeared in the ether. This is awesome. This is awesome. Gunther comes out, right? Gunther comes out. And he's upset because the fans are chastising him and teasing him and saying that he tapped out. Well, he did tap out. He tapped out to Jay Mother effing Uso. So now he got a chip on his shoulder. So he goes over to Michael Cole. He tries to choke him out. Pat McAfee comes to his rescue. He chokes Pat McAfee out. Turns him beet red. Had to take him to the training room. This is awesome. This is awesome. You had the return of Rusev, who came and interrupted an impromptu match between the New Day and Alpha Academy. Is Rusev going to be aligned with the New Day? That's the vibes that I got. But it's return. It's a return, you know. That's what WrestleMania, Raw After WrestleMania is all about. Debuts and returns. This is awesome. This is awesome. Jey Uso came out with his championship celebration. Sami Zayn came out. The tension was so thick, you could cut it with a knife. Was Sami Zayn going to turn on Jey? I don't know. Trust and believe, seeds were planted. But not tonight. He came out to celebrate. He came out to congratulate. He came out to be with his brother Uso. This is awesome. This is awesome. Oh, Becky Lynch. They ran it back. Becky Lynch and Lyra Valkyria defended their newly won WWE Women's Tag Team Championships against the former champs Raquel and Liv Morgan. Raquel and Liv Morgan regained their championships less than 24 hours after they lost them. But this time Lyra was the one who got pinned, and Becky Lynch was pissed. And Becky Lynch turned heel. So pretty much her return was to turn heel, to go against Lyra. But she didn't want to come in before WrestleMania. She wanted to come in at WrestleMania. Okay. And being the heel that she is, the crowd told her, give her another manhandle slam, and she did it. She did it. And it was like, one more time. And she came back and did it one more time. And then they said, one more time. And she came back and did it one more time. What a heel. This is awesome. This is awesome. And finally, the main event. Besides Dominic retaining his championship against Penta with the return of JD McDonough. This is awesome. The main event segment. Paul Heyman and his new Paul Heyman guy, Seth Rollins, come out. So I guess give an explanation of what exactly happened. But before they was able to do so, CM Punk came on a mission, and CM Punk got promptly, matter of fact, he promptly beat the shit out of Seth Rollins, put his hands on Paul. Seth came back and stomped him out. And then when they was about to return to their explanation, Roman Reigns came out to get his revenge. And you're looking at the numbers. Okay, something is wrong here. Something is wrong here. We have two baby faces and one wrestling heel. Somebody has to be coming to join. And promptly, somebody in the hood comes out and spears Roman Reigns. But that spear looked very familiar. And he takes the hood off, and it's Braun Breaker. Braun Breaker has joined Seth Rollins. Braun Breaker has joined Paul Heyman. Is this a new dangerous alliance? And they left the baby faces bruised and battered for another day. Wonderful, wonderful. Paul Heyman at his absolute worst. Great. You know what that got? This is awesome. This is awesome. Well, the Raw after WrestleMania and everything that happened over the weekend is swept under the rug. Oh, but it gets worse. Matter of fact, it gets better. So today on the Pat McAfee show, guess who decided to bless people with their presence? Dwayne Johnson, The Rock. Yes, I said it, The Rock. Shoot. The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, came out on the Pat McAfee show to, I guess, give his explanation of why he was gone for 6 weeks. You know, he's filming a show, but he had to emphasize that, number one, you know, the whole angle, the whole story of Cody Rhodes selling his soul, well, that was more like a litmus test. It was a litmus test just to see exactly what the crowd wanted. Did the crowd want Cody to sell his soul? And if they did, well, we was able to find out and pivot from there. And when he chose not to sell his soul, you know, Paul said, you know, how about Cena? Well, it's up to Cena. It's up to John. We got to talk to John. John said, all right, I'm down to do it. And then we did that angle at Elimination Chamber. But the reason we did that angle at Elimination Chamber because ticket sales were kind of slow and we needed a good pick-me-up. And I said, you know what? This would be a great thing, a great way to lead into WrestleMania and make history at the same time. And I'm watching this while I'm on my treadmill burning calories, hanging and banging, brother. And I'm like, wow. So, that was the story behind John Cena's heel turn. And then, the reason why he chose not to be a part of the build of WrestleMania because such a monumental angle, such a monumental build for the chase for 17 needed to be John Cena centric. And how would it look if he was in the background, he was part of it, and he raised his eyebrow? All eyes would be on him instead of the GOAT himself, John Cena. And oh, by the way, John Cena is not a bad guy. He's not a bad guy at all. John Cena is the good guy. Yes, he is. Way to bury the man who has been the face of your company for the last year. Cody Rhodes. But no, John Cena's a good guy. So, of course the crowd was going to cheer for him because John is just a hell of a guy. And why would the crowd, why would the fans not want to cheer John Cena on in this historic event? I'm like, okay. I don't know if I mentioned last episode. I might have mentioned last episode that they're coming out with this show on Netflix, Unreal. Lifting the curtain. Going behind the curtain. All weekend long, it's been thrown in our face that this is a production, that just go along for the ride, that the fans that critique the product have no right to critique the product because you're supposed to be happy with what the fuck you get. Yeah, you're supposed to be happy spending $5,000 to $10,000 on a front row seat to get potentially ran over by ATV by a drunken Stone Cold Steve Austin. No, you're supposed to enjoy that. It's part of the experience. How dare you? Are you supposed to go on the internet and tell everybody, oh, well, you know, I think Paul's angle is sucking right now? No, Paul is supposed to be a hell of a guy all the time. You didn't know this? Between all the media appearances he made, you know, even the self-aggrandizing, blowing of his own cock on WWE YouTube channel for about an hour and a half with Peter Rosenberg of how great he is. Oh, if that wasn't enough, did you realize how great his character of almost over 25 years as Triple H, as Hunter Hearst Helmsley? Do you know how great that was? It was so great that, you know, everybody else got 5 to 7 minutes except Michelle McCool, who, because she's fucking a dead guy, she gets 16 minutes. But Triple H goes a Broadway, an hour and 10 minutes. But his acceptance streams, because, you know, for somebody who really was so surprising, doesn't really want the spotlight to be on him, you know, an hour is the least I could do for all my faithful. I'm actually glad WrestleMania is over, because it's actually opened my eyes to a lot of shit. That the wrestling that I've come to grow, that I came to grow and love and really devote myself to on my off time as a guilty pleasure, it's changed and it's not coming back. And I need to recalibrate exactly my expectations on what I see. It's nothing but a promotional product. Every time I turn on the TV, I'm going to be inundated with brands of liquor, Minute Maid, Dude Wipes, Tops, Fanatics, everything. That's what it's come to. Food. We're gonna have takeover weekends. You know, the roast of WrestleMania by a racist cocksucker. Hall of Fames that last for about 3 hours and have all the talent out there yawning and fighting for their life, trying to stay awake. Watching PLEs that were starting to get shrunk down inside, now to be expanded and bloated. I think every PLE is going to be 2 days after this. Money in the Bank going to be 2 days. I guarantee it. Oh yeah, and last but not least, yeah, we're going to have to vampire every bit of hip-hop culture so we can get the hip-hop rub. And so we can be cool and show that we're about the people when we really don't give a fuck about the people. How about that? So that's my weekend in review of WrestleMania weekend. Please like, comment, subscribe, tell a friend, tell a friend, tell a friend, share. And later on this week, WrestleMania memories will continue, because at this point in time, I do think I need to remember WrestleMania when it was a simpler time, and then gradually get to current times, in which really got me thinking, am I gonna bid adieu to my wrestling fandom? Not really, but I think I'm gonna fall back for a little bit. I know that. Next week, I guess I'll get more into my Knicks. I ate this meal. Freaking Knicks, 1-1, and we should actually be down 0-2. Matter of fact, tune in later on this week, and I'll after game 3 in Detroit for my Knicks thoughts. But until then, goodbye.